The Golden State Warriors have officially gone out and won their 7th NBA championship after defeating the Boston Celtics last night in Game 6. They have officially rebuilt their dynasty, winning their 4th championship in their last 8 seasons, as I'm here to tell you that this is most definitely not the last time the Warriors are going to be on this stage, with an almost picture-perfect roster set up for success for years to come. Nobody expected this team at the beginning of the season to have been able to accomplish this feat, and now, after months of a grueling NBA season full with nothing but ups and downs, they can call themselves champions of the world until further notice. Steph Curry finally won his Finals MVP trophy and is a 4-time champion alongside Klay, Draymond, and Iggy. Klay's recovery comes around full circle in the best possible way. Draymond continues to silence his critics. Andrew Wiggins defied the narrative that has haunted his NBA career, and more I will be getting into later in this video. Starting with Steph, his emotions said it all last night on how much he and this franchise had to overcome this season, being at the bottom of the standings after 2019, all of the injuries their guys had to endure, and even the assimilation process of all of their younger players. Steph proved in this series alone how much one star can impact the game, as he had countless efforts that helped propel this team against a very good Celtics squad where I'm sure this won't be their last time in the finals either. He's cemented his legacy with this 4th ring, where even though I've already considered him one of the greats, I think he just gained a hell of a lot more believers that would put him as the greatest point guard of all time. He has the accolades, he's the greatest shooter of all time, and the scariest part is that he's nowhere near close to finishing his career. With the direction the team is heading, he can not only have the opportunity to play with a contender till he retires, but honestly, I don't think he'll slow down all too much either, where he'll still have a pretty large role while doing so. Klay, in my opinion, has the greatest story out of this entire situation. What he went through, suffering 2 season-ending injuries, nearly one after the other. He said it himself, he was in an incredibly dark place. He shed many tears on the bench watching his team play over the years, and doubted even if he would be able to play the sport he loved ever again. Fast forward 2 years since his first injury, he started in the finals alongside guys he grew up with in the league, and eventually won his 4th NBA championship, where same with him, I think he's only going to get better the healthier he gets, and he too and will most likely have a long and successful spell with the Warriors coming up that is nowhere near over. Andrew Wiggins had one of my favorite come-up stories with this Warriors team that has honestly been such a huge narrative this season. As many people know, he was selected 1st overall, and he hadn't lived up to the expectations that were set on him in Minnesota, being such a highly coveted pick out of Kansas. It has been nothing but the opposite. The moment he got traded to the Warriors, they treated him like family, believed in him, and gave him the opportunity to play his game freely. And what did that turn into? Well, he ended up starting on the All-Star team this year, even though it was controversial. He still deserved to be an All-Star nonetheless. And then on top of that, Wiggins was the 2nd player on the Warriors this playoff, stepping up both offensively and defensively, having to be the guy to guard opposing team stars like Tatum, Doncic, and Morant, while also having multiple great performances on the other end as well. The storylines for this team are literally endless on how this season went. So many ups and downs all throughout the roster, as Draymond had been considered the defensive player of the year before he got hurt, and Jordan Poole improved into someone who is now looking to be the future of the guard position for this team, and I could simply just go on and on. The absolutely terrifying thing about this team is not what they've done this year, it's what they have the potential to become for many years down the line. Of course, they are going to celebrate this season as one of their greatest accomplishments, as they stated themselves just last night that this might be their best ring, but what they, and honestly most people, have in the back of their minds is the fact that they have way too much talent that is about to infiltrate this roster sooner than we think. Starting with Jordan Poole, obviously he emerged as being recognized as a part of the Splash family this season with his play. He's only 22, and like I alluded to earlier, he's going to be a star for this franchise, as not only does he have the potential, he has arguably 2 of the greatest mentors in front of him in his backcourt, who he already has been soaking in all of the info from them on how to be great in the NBA, and I can see nothing but stardom out of him. On top of this, the Warriors have 3 guys on their roster on the come up who didn't even have a decent role in this year's playoffs, who all have serious potential. James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody are all the Warriors' young stars selected in the last 2 drafts. Each and every one of them had moments throughout the year that all have been recognized very highly by the Warriors organization and the public, where they are the guys who are supposed to take on the reins of the franchise alongside Poole as this Warriors core gets older. All with the potential to be stars, these young guys are playing underneath one of the most well-built cores mentors of modern sports history who will all be great mentors to these kids and all want to play alongside them to create one of the most deadly dynasties of all time. I can see them all taking pay cuts when it's time for some guys to get paid. They've built a family in this organization and it's not ending anytime soon, so buckle up your seatbelt and get ready for the ride. And obviously, congrats to the Warriors organization, to all of their fans and players. No team was more deserving of this accomplishment, and after they celebrate what they've done, it's now on to the 2022 NBA draft, which takes place next week. I have and will continue to make content on it, so subscribe to see that. It's free and it helps me out a ton.